Hello and welcome to another video in my raspiBackup channel. In this video I want to talk about the intelligent backup strategy which is available with raspiBackup. It's also called smart recycle strategy, which allows to define a specific pattern how to keep all backups created. So the backup strategy actually is described on my website. So if you go on to this website, down there's a link to Smart Recycle, and then you will see this page where I try to explain how the Smart Recycle works in detail. Frankly, when I initially created raspiBackup, well, I just defined a number of backups to keep and that's it. So I initially used 12 for the number of backups to keep, because I saved my backups, my Raspberries, well, once a week, and so I have a history of 3 months. But then at some point in time, the Raspberry user contacted me and told me, well, it would be a good idea to add an additional feature in raspiBackup, the backup strategy. And he pointed me to a website created by Manuel DeWalt. Let's open this one, where he described a nice way how to create and to keep backups and to implement a backup strategy. If you want to know about the details, just visit this page. So I used this code, this algorithm, but I had to improve it because it didn't match to the way I want to use it in raspiBackup. But anyhow, it was a nice idea. And so if you look into my code, you will find a lot of code which I actually reused there. Okay, so let's go to the more details to explain how the backup strategy actually works. I created this picture on my website. It's a logical view how the backup strategy works. If you want to know about the physical background, oh, I'm sorry, I missed to add this link here on the English page. On the German page, there's a link on a German wiki page which explains this backup strategy in a nice way. So unfortunately, there's no English page available which uses the same pictures, but let's visit this page. Oops. Okay, here we are. So this is actually a German page which explains this principle, but I frankly like this picture because it explains how the different versions are created and stored and use backup space. So if you are interested on the details, maybe that's a picture you should open and hopefully understand what's going on there. I don't want to go into details on this because I think it's the most important thing is to understand the logic and not the physics. Okay, so let's go back over here. So let's assume I start from scratch and I don't have any backups, and I decide to create daily backups. So we will get 7 backups, Monday, Tuesday until Sunday. And then raspiBackup detects, okay, I was configured to keep 7 daily backups, 4 weekly backups, 12 monthly backups, and 3 yearly backups. So the first weekly backup is created. Actually, it's not created, it's just the backup which was created in the first on Monday. And then the backup creation continues 7 days. Then the next weekly backup is created, which is again the backup created on the first day on Monday of this week, and so on and so on. So finally we created 4 backups, 4 weekly backups, and then raspiBackup detects, okay, now I have to create a monthly backup. Actually, it's just using the first weekly backup to represent the monthly backup. And now the same procedure happens again, 7 days created and 4 weeks. And now again the next month will get a backup, and so raspiBackup decides to use the first weekly backup as the next month backup. And so on and so on. And at the end we have 12 backups, 12 monthly backups, and then raspiBackups creates the first yearly backup, which actually is the first monthly backup created for this year. And so this procedure happens and goes on and goes on. And finally, if you configure it this way to have 3 yearly backups, when you run raspiBackup for 3 years, you have all the time, the last 7 days, a backup. You have also a backup for the last weeks. You have a backup for the last 12 months and also the last 3 years. Frankly, I don't know of anybody who is using yearly backups, but it's possible to create them if you use raspiBackup. So I think most of the people, whenever they use the smart recycle backup strategy, just use 7 days, maybe 4 weeks, and then 3 or 6 months, but not yearly backups. But again, it's possible to create them, so it's up to you, and you can use them. So, how do you configure this backup strategy? Let's go to the command line. There's 2 ways to get it done. First of all, if you install raspiBackup initially, you can decide to use this strategy just when you set up the system. Not the system, when you set up raspiBackup. Okay, sorry. So here you can select Smart Backup Strategy and can insert the numbers. Default is 7 daily backups, 4 weekly, 12 monthly, and 1 backup per year. But just modify it, and if you save this, then you will get backups which are controlled by the backup strategy. And if you already use the normal backup strategy I actually also use just to define the number of backups you want to keep, and you want to switch to the smart recycle backup strategy, then you have to modify the config file of raspiBackup. So I just open the config file, and that's the default. If you haven't turned on the smart recycle in the configuration in the installer, then default recycle is turned off within. Yeah, okay. And if you now want to switch to the smart recycle, you should keep the dry run option to 1, which causes raspiBackup to report every deletion it will do if you activate the smart recycle, but it will not be done. So you are able to control which backups will be deleted. I spent a lot of time to test this smart recycle logic, but just to be sure, I frankly suggest to test before you want to activate the smart recycle whether it actually deletes the correct files and backups. So use the dry run and then enable smart recycle, configure any options over here and start raspiBackup. Then, well, no backup will create it, and it's just telling you, okay, that's what I'm going to delete if smart recycle will be enabled, but it's not done. And if you checked that everything is okay, then just activate smart recycle and turn off the dry run, save this config file, start raspiBackup again, and then, well, the smart recycle strategy will be applied, and all backups will be deleted. All backups which don't comply to the smart backups strategy will be deleted, and they will be gone. So make sure everything works fine. Okay, so I hope I explained the two different ways to activate smart recycle, either initially if you install raspiBackup, or, well, then later on when you use the simple backup strategy just to keep some versions, some number of versions, and then decided to switch to the smart recycle backup strategy. In a different video I explained how to update this configuration file, so just open this one and then you will get some help how to modify this configuration file, because it's not possible to define whether you want to have a dry run or whether you don't want to have a dry run with the installer. So you have to modify the configuration file in order to get this. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Hope you will understand what I'm trying to explain to you. And if you like the smart recycle backup strategy, just use it and enjoy. Okay, that's it for today.